Right now, we are live. Hi, everybody. Hello, everybody. I'm Ricardo Ruiz, and I'm the cybersecurity professional, guys. In this video, I am going to. One second. For some reason, my volume is still up. There we go. My bad. In this video, I'm going to talk about the future of cybersecurity. We're going to talk about the future of cybersecurity and how to prepare for a career in this growing field. I'm reading, by the way. The demand for cybersecurity professionals is growing rapidly as a business and governments becoming increasingly reliant on technology, guys. Everything from working in an IoT device to AI architectures and emerging technologies. There are many different career paths available in cybersecurity, from security analysts to penetration testers, like one of our friends right here is trying to go this way, to security architects, guys. And in this video, we're going to share some opinions with you guys. We're gonna be here for about an hour, so grab your water, grab your coffee, grab your drink, share the video. Let me know how are we doing, guys, on the comment section below. So we're gonna go around the room real quick. Jaywalk, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing well, fellas. Tough week, but I'm surviving it. Just still in processing, getting my feet wet a little bit. Meeting some meeting some more new and interesting people that I'll be engaging with here fairly soon. And just a meeting of the mind. So that's how my week is going.
Q, tell me, how are you doing today, man? It's been a week since last time we were here. Is everything doing good?
Yeah, it's been doing pretty good. I'm pretty good. I've had a pretty good week. Busy with the family. Got a new vehicle. Woo woo! Got a new
Hey,
vehicle. That's awesome. Uh, and just been. Yep. Thank you. Very much. That vehicle was very much needed. We were having some difficulties, but we got through it and got everything taken care of. And then I got actually. Some tech. So now hopefully my voice sounds a lot better. Hopefully you guys hear me. Rick, how's my voice now? Is it good?
I got to tell you the truth. It's night and day, man. Today, I think today is the first day where we got this live stream going, man. It sounds amazing. It sounds amazing. Thank you for that, man. I'm excited. Lee, what's going on? The new member of the podcast, Cyber Domain One. Tell me,
Yeah.
present yourself. Tell people about yourself. Mike. Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, just an aspiring office security professional right now. Just learning more of compliance things and just on the free time, just learning more tools and methodologies to move into a web application security type of person and learning more tools and just forever a learner in the field of the cybersecurity domain. So happy to be here. Happy to talk to you all. Happy to learn some more things and get some feedback from the people watching. Right. So
Let me tell you. I think we got some volume. Somebody got the volume up. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. No, probably not me. See, the cybersecurity field is constantly evolving. So it's important to stay up to date, like you're doing, Lee. So amazing. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the family, man. We're getting into this, guys. The number one question that I got since last video is, how do we get into cyber? There's a lot of people out there who either have no education, okay, or they have no certifications, okay, and they are hungry hungry to get into cybersecurity. Okay, that's it. That's the one comment that I got from last week and the week before. How do I get? Hey, Rick, how do we get into cybersecurity? The other thing that I'm getting a lot, guys, is from people in the panel, people in the street, people that I talk to all the time. Is how Ali, I want you to touch into this. Is how recruiters are masking these jobs. You know, they're telling us the government, the private industry is telling us there's 750,000 jobs to be filled in, around the world on cybersecurity, and there's only 100,000 of us that can fully fulfill those roles. The question is why people are not getting hired. Why? Ali, Jaywalk, I want you to. I want to bring something to you. Is people are still going through 5 rounds of interviews. Why? What is going on? What are we
Well,
thinking? So I'm gonna leave it to you guys.
okay, I'll start it off. Well, the first thing about an interview is you got to be in command of the facts, and the facts is what's on your resume, right? So a lot of people put things on their resume that they can't speak to, and I was speaking with a friend of mine about that, about the interview process. He says that he doesn't go off of the interview or off of the job rec. He goes off of what's on your resume, and he makes questions based on that. And he said it's a better fielding process. And the second thing is a lot of people just think they can go into an interview and ace it. You can't. It takes practice. Like anything else, you gotta practice. You can't just skim over something. I mean, you gotta really know if it's technical, that they're gonna know the depth of your experience if they ask you a question outside of what you prepared for. So you really should practice and just break down the job rec. Don't just look at it. Oh yeah, I can do this, this, and this. I was working with a guy. I mean, smart guy. I mean, I got a lot of respect for him, but he could not get a job, right? And I say, listen, I'll help you. Just practice. Talking in front of people, and so he never got the job. So I sort of left him at the old company. But I mean, smart guy, but just couldn't put it together. And so I think practice. Um, I think we talked about the being prepared, haircut. It's okay to ask for a bottle of water in an interview. I encourage people to do that because it gives you another point of focus. Uh, if you wear glasses or whatever the case is, try to wear some glasses so that offsets the eye to eye contact. Um, and then if you're on, now this is something I did one time. I presented an actual project that I did or some type of documentation and pulled that out in an interview. And I was losing it, right? I pulled that out. I worked my way back into the interview. So, and you can provide an example of something you achieved or did in that interview that gives them a sense of, okay, I can do a test procedure. I can, some other type of artifact that will allow them to see your work outside of the interview. So um, just practice, and I think you'll get that job you want.
It's a great point. Lee, do you wanna add something there? Please.
Yeah, it's a lot of different uh, aspects of getting your first role or just making the transition to the cybersecurity domain. But it's a lot of things that goes into it. Like first of all, like you said, with your resume, you want to be able to articulate your resume from every skill that you say you have on there. And a lot of people have come to the conclusion that each skill that you put on there, you want to be able to talk in depth to it, at least 20 minutes or more. If someone asks you, okay, what is this skill? What is it? How did you use it? You want to be able to talk in depth about that skill and just being prepared for the interview, right? So there's no way to be 100% prepared for an interview, but you can leverage what you know from the job posting, right? You can go over the qualifications that they are looking for in the job posting. And a lot of times, people look at the job postings and get a little intimidated. But I tell people don't get intimidated by the job posting because 9 times out of 10 they know that they're not going to get every single requirement out of somebody on the job posting. These job postings are just a general ideal of a qualified individual, right? So if you have most of the skills and the knowledge on that job posting, apply to it and then practice because you know it does not mean you can regurgitate it out when they're asking you a question because in the interview you may get lucky with a one-on-one, but a lot of times you will have multiple people sitting in a room and it can be kind of nerve-wracking and you may just forget everything you know and then you just cost yourself a job. So for people starting out, I just recommend getting used to failure because it does happen. Even the most experienced professionals get overlooked on interviews just because of an answer they may have given or they may have stumbled up on, but that does not mean you're not qualified. It's a lot of different aspects that goes into the interview. So that's my standpoint on it. But it's a lot of other different things that goes into just making the transition. But as far as the resume and the interview part of it, you can do something to a certain extent of in your own wheelhouse to have yourself better prepared.
Thank you. I think Lee touched a couple good points right there. Lee, can you check the mic, please? Sorry. So, what can you say on Lee's point? He mentioned a couple of things about failure. I think that's great. A great point. Anybody can. How do we, as future prospects or as individuals who are in the work in the job market, how do we approach failure? How do we? I mean, this is because people are watching this. People are watching this kind of video. They listen to this podcast,
Right.
and they might say that to themselves. I mean, how do I deal with? It's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, I agree with that. It can be very intimidating to walk into an interview, and you may have scored, perfectly, aced everything in the previous interview, and you think something through, and you say one phrase, and then it trips you up the next interview. So it can be very intimidating for these type of interviews. The recommendations I have is be confident in what you know. If you know it, be confident in it. Give that answer, and they'll see that. And sometimes, depending, you have to know be aware of your audience. How they're reacting to how the interview is going along. If they're getting a little, um, I don't know, with casual or whatever with some of the conversation, go with it and maybe crack a joke or something, but still get back to that professional stuff and show them your personality. I mean, you look them in the eye, or whoever's speaking. If you have multiple people in the interview, look them in the eye and just give them the answer that they've asked, and just be confident about what you know. And that comes with sometimes experience. So if you fail a few times, and yeah, I'm not saying that's going to feel good. I mean, it never does, but be confident and go to that next interview and really. And if it takes time to sit down and read some things, refamiliarize your brain with some of the phrases, some of the terminology. I mean, I don't know of a person that I mean, and I've been in this industry for a while. I don't know of a person that's got a photographic memory that can and rattle off the entire control book or anything. But it's always good to familiarize yourself with some key terms and take that in with you into the interview. So yeah, that's what my recommendation is.
No,
Yeah,
that's a very good point. That's a very good point. This is what I see, the problems that I see with the industry. Okay, and it's not every single industry, but I used to work for two large defense companies in the West Coast. Okay, and they have a very high reputation on hiring just the best of the best. You know, the best engineers, the best network guys, the best system admins, the best ISOs, ISMs, the best cooks, the best of the best. You know, and one of the things that they used to have, the team that I used to work for, is a round one, round two, three, four, and five, and as you go up on those rounds of interviews, they pair you with individuals who are very knowledgeable about their craft. You know, for example, when I was in Tucson, I was in round three. I wasn't even on round five. Okay, and I remember this set of interviews that we did because we were trying to fill four slots for network engineers, and people used to come to the interview to the third round thinking that it's going to be as I won't say easy, but they weren't expecting that the level of difficulty on those questions, technicality, will be increased. And I know that when I'm asking you a question and I'm telling you, hey, can you tell me how you get the configurations on a Cisco switch, you're just gonna say, show run, and then so you can get the config so for the switch. But then when I was going over there, I was asking them about times. I was asking them about VLANs. I was asking them about how you connect this to a domain to a DC, where you get the timing from, how you get tackling into this, and then I mean, if people start like panicking, because now if you are looking, and this is an error that people make, if you go to an interview and you have that cheat sheet in front of you with your 10, 20, 30 basic commands, I'm telling you that maybe there's somebody on the other side of the conversation who knows what they're talking about. Okay, and when they throw you a curveball, like, well, I need you to tell me, how do you find the OS version of the firmware in this switch, and everybody's looking around like, what just happened, you know? Because these are very technical questions for things like life cycle of those devices. You know, the people don't think about those things. And then, like I said before, I was sitting on the third round of interviews. So I mentioned earlier to the guys, like, why do we have one, two, three, four, five, rounds of interviews when we're trying to fill these jobs? Why we make it so difficult? When regardless, we're gonna bring you in, and we're gonna give you, like I mentioned it before, we're gonna give you the manuscript, we're gonna give you the Bible, we're gonna give you the JSIG, we're gonna give you the NIST, we're gonna give you the PM book, and then we're gonna tell you this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna have an SOP, you're gonna have an SOI, and you're gonna have all these rules and regulations that you can deviate from them. You know, if you have to patch a system, DISA sends you the instructions step by step. I'm not joking, guys. Step by step, how to stick a computer. It's not that you don't have to Google nothing. I mean, it's already given to you, and we download this every quarter. How often we get the patches from DISA? Every quarter, right?
Every quarter.
Yeah, and then it comes to you ready to cook. You know, just and you find these these little troubles, little issues. And I want to ask the panel, guys, how do you feel about this? Again, how do you feel about these 5 rounds of interviews? Man, Amazon's still doing this. Microsoft still doing this. Big
yeah.
Facebook is still doing this. Big corporations, you know. How do we feel?
Well, it's twofold for me. when I'm in an interview, I I focus on the processes, right? And when it comes time for them to say, okay, do you have any questions? I always ask them, how robust are your processes, right? Because if a guy, now I had to turn down a job one time because the guy said, well, we don't have any processes. So so I'm saying, well, how are you managing your systems? What's your posture? And some guy, I think he was a VP, came in and he started talking, and so that wasn't the job for me because if you don't have any processes in place, that means either I'm gonna have to build them, and the money wasn't to the threshold of the job. So so my point is, when you get a guy in there and he's speaking, his language about his systems, you know, and this is a way that you can, you know, quell them down. So I've learned, when you got 5 people in the room and they're barking at you, you got to focus on one at a time, because they, hey, what about this? What about that? And that's their logic. Okay, let's, I got a job, um, where I gave such a great answer to a bogus question, right? And right, I mean, but the question, it sounded real, and this was with a major, I'll say it, Booz Allen, right? And you know, and 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 the lady was shocked, and she said, "Well, that wasn't, not that it wasn't a real question. It was just my response to it was real." And so you just gotta, I didn't like it because I had 5 people staring at me, asking me different questions, and so I get a little nervous sometimes because I'm trying to pinpoint what's going through somebody's mind. Then it was times where I said, "Hey, I I don't know the answer to that, but I will get back to you and with an answer." And I did that through the recruiter. And so there's different techniques, but you got to really look at it. Is the job worth it? Is the stress worth it? Will it fulfill you in your career? So so you have some control when you're in the interview. So don't think that it's all about them. It's not. It's really about you. So, so if someone else wants
One,
to add on to,
yeah, yeah. Trying to say that, going off of what Rick was saying with the why we have so many job availability out there, and they're making the process so difficult to get people in, especially if the company that has a pretty solid process in place and they have a pretty solid team. Why are they making it so difficult to get new people on if their process is, we're going to give you the Bible, we're going to give you these processes, and you just follow and you do the quarterlies and the weeklies and monthlies? They've got it all solid in place. Why are they making the interview so difficult? And yeah, I agree with Rick. Why does it have to be difficult when you've already got a solid system in place? And more of these companies mature and get to a maturity level, then it should be easy to bring new people on, because you just have to be willing to be attentive to, it's going to be detail oriented. You got to be pay attention to detail. As long as you can have that and you have pretty workable personality, I think that then having a pretty solid process in place will basically train them up, and they can grow with the company. So I agree with Rick on that one.
I got to tell
Yeah.
you the thing. I mean, I know that Jay Woke mentioned BA, that company over there, a great company, by the way. But in 2018, I also interviewed for a company, and when I was in the military, I was an EMAS SME, subject matter expert. There weren't one thing on emails that I didn't knew. 90, I knew 97% of that thing. I mean, I know that there's probably one or two features I didn't knew about emails, but I was
Right.
pretty solid. Like, when you're good at something, I was very good at emails.
Right.
So BA, they posted a job before I took the job at Mantech, about an ATO SME. And I was like, man, that fits like a ring. That was like, this
Right.
is me right here. I'm gonna get this job.
Right.
And then I talked to a recruiter. The recruiter told me, hey, they're paying 160, 175 remote from home. You're gonna be doing ATOs for the VA, but you have to go to this interview with this individual, and he prepared me. When he prepared me, I was like, why is this guy giving me questions for the
Right.
for the interview? I think I got it, and I did have
Yeah.
those. I did have those answers. But during the interview process, I started talking to the recruiter, and there were two people on the panel in addition to the recruiter
Mhm.
and my recruiter. There was like four people total, and then it got to this individual lady, and we were arguing about a step on the ATO process, and we were arguing about artifacts.
Mm.
Guys, we have a 15-minute argument
Wow.
about some artifacts. Okay, if you are listening to this video right now, that
Wow.
should be very simple. That should
Yeah.
be this is an artifact. Move on. You upload. The next person check, approve.
Hmm.
Go to the next step. Thank you. Can I get the job? I will wear pants. You know, when I'm
Right.
at
Right.
home. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, that lady got stuck on the question and the answer I gave. I don't think that she appreciated my expertise. I feel that there were some feathers that were rough, and I saw that she also was just like myself at the 97% of knowledge on with that software, with emails and the ATO process. So I think that she felt like, like, maybe he don't fit the team, maybe he knows too much. Let me, and that happens. So for the individuals out there watching this, learn from my mistakes, because it was a mistake that I should just call it like, yes, ma'am, you're right.
Mm.
I should not say, no, you're wrong. That is not what you do. That's not the step. You don't upload that one out. That's not how you do it.
Right. Right.
As the and that's part of gaining experience, and being more of a seasoned individual cybersecurity
Right.
professional, is when you go to an interview, leave your ego, leave all your expertise and knowledge, leave all your certifications, leave all your three masters and your Ralph Lauren tie,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
with your with your $700 handkerchief. I mean, because this happened, and I'm talking to, who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the '06, to the '09 E9. I'm talking to the vice president who got fired from the previous job. I'm talking to the previous director. Hey, sometimes you have to leave all that behind, and you have to present yourself, and you need to present yourself in a manner that is not, that you don't show a threat. Okay, wait until you got that W4 fill. Okay, and once you fill that W4, listen to me.
Mhm.
Once you fill that W4, then you say, hey, by the way, guys, I forgot to tell you, but I got 9 certs. And I forgot to tell you that 3 classes for my master's, and I'm working on another cert, and I want your job and your job and your job and your job, and nobody's gonna stop me. And if I cannot
Yeah,
get this, in 5 years, have a good day. You know?
yeah. I just want to add something to that,
Go
right?
ahead.
So, just it's really sad that you have to almost belittle yourself just to fit into the interview, but that's just the reality of it, right? So, as you were saying, that interviewer probably had their point of view of how a process works, or at least how it works at their company. So, you just have to go in with the mindset that their company may run things a little differently, and you just probably gotta just for the purpose of the interview, fit in with the company's processes. And then once you're in, if you choose to actually stick with the role and get selected for it, probably suggest some changes that you see, because they're bringing you in for your expertise. I would think they should be. They should bring you in for your expertise and the way you see things can be upgraded and changed for the company for the better, right? But on the flip note of that, talking to some recruiters and HR people in my own personal field, your expertise can also be looked at as a threat sometimes. Sometimes that manager who's bringing you in don't want to bring in someone who feel as though they may be a challenge to their role or a challenge to their next promotion, right? So that you got to battle those two different evils when you're trying to be on the job market looking for a role. So yeah.
Saying correct. But I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. This is an inside note. We are I think we are blessed. Okay, I think we are blessed where we are right now. On another note, we need to talk about the importance of preparing ourselves for the job market. You know, how do we prepare ourselves for the job market? What tools do we need to put in our pockets in order to before we start thinking about applying for the job? I mean, I seen a lot of people on LinkedIn, and this is by the way, I'm gonna plug my website real quick, cyberdomain1.com. I am giving away some services where I will be preparing individuals to number one, pass certifications. Number two, we're gonna give one-on-one tutoring. And number three, there's more services out there, and we're gonna do a 30-day boot camp in order for me to prepare some of you guys out there, okay, interested, in order to attain and achieve that cybersecurity job, okay? It's going to cost you, yeah, because my time is not free. But I guarantee you that we will get you in a great position in order for you to ace that interview and get that job. Once we get you to the interview, it's totally up to you to just beat it. But anyway, what kind of tools do we need in order to be ready for that interview? Like I mentioned, there's so many people on LinkedIn, on YouTube, everywhere, every single outlet, telling people you don't need no cert, you don't need no education, you just need to buy my $4,000 product. Because that's what I see all day long on LinkedIn, and to me that's kind of like it's kind of sad because most individuals end up, and this is the trick. They take $3,000, $4,000 for these individuals from all walks of life, you know, from all places in the world, from all different countries. Okay, and people come to the cybersecurity landfill in the United States, and they're like, oh, now I got my cyber job. When in reality, they just got a data entry job or they got a sales job at AT&T. That is not cybersecurity, guys. So I keep seeing that more and more and more. What kind of advice we can give to this cyber talent to fight that, to not don't fall for that, you know, we're gonna get you in 2 weeks ready for that job.
I'll start this one off, Rick. Uh, don't think that having no certifications is a good thing. They that don't fall for that trap, because the certifications are worth their weight in gold. And I don't mean that literally, but yeah, they are worth the knowledge that you receive, the um, the information that they provide for those certifications is legitimate knowledge that you can use to be very successful in the industry. So don't take it lightly, and or don't brush it off. And when you hear somebody say, "Oh, you don't need certifications," because that is entirely false. And like Rick was saying, you may end up in a position where you're not really doing cybersecurity. You're doing sales or something of that caliber. Jaywalk, what's your idea?
I I think you should hold. So let's say when you look at the job rec, and they have these 10 things on there, right? And two of them are cyber. And I ran into that early in my career, where you had a cybersecurity analyst, right, which was RMF, which I understood. Then it was, but they had that mixed in with a cybersecurity engineer. So basically, you had to go in and configure the system. So it did pertain to RMF, risk management framework, but it was more of a self-assessment. The guys come in, they configure the system, and then the assessor comes in and assess, those controls, configurations and things of that nature. But it was more of a sysadmin position than it was cyber. And I've learned, nothing against you, Rick, but never to argue in an interview, right? Because it's money involved. It's a lot of things involved. Your integrity and everything else. So you just look at the guy and just say, hey, I understand we're in the middle of an interview. Can we move on to the next question? So you got to be savvy, because you don't know that guy, that could be one of his tricks. Okay, let me see how he handles. So you got to be savvy in those interviews. And watch out for this question: why should I hire you? Right? I mean, that gets a lot of people, because now the interviews are culture based, and it's not about what you know. It's whether you can fit into the team. So I tell you this, I'll give you a prime example. I worked with a guy, Ernie, right when I first got into cyber. So he pit his experience against my inexperience, right? So I had to find a way to stay professional and to beat Ernie, right? So Ernie was in charge. He was so confident. So he was surprised by the fact how I was able to get around him and maneuver around him. And so I left that organization, not angry, not upset. I left on my own accord. So then, as I went on in my career, right now, and Ernie's still senior to me. I give him that respect. But right now, we're at the same level. So this new position that I got, they interviewed me first, then they interviewed Ernie, and we both got hired. Now we're on the same team again, and it's ironic, right? Because in those short years, I made it to his level, which is a senior, right? And so he's looking at me, and he was saying, well, what level are you at? I said, Ernie, I'm at the same level you are, Ernie. And but in this field, you never know who you're gonna run into, who you're gonna work with, and you just gotta learn. So now, from that perspective, he's ineffective, right? So he can't pull that crap on me, right? Because it's and now I'm equal to him in terms of position. He got more knowledge because he's been doing it longer. But now we speak the same language. Where we sit side by side. We speak to the same boss, and I think you just gotta grow. And I got a saying: never leave a position as an angry person. Just never, don't do it. Understand what your contributions were. What you did for this company. So now I'm going out to this Air Force base, right? So I was at the Air Force base as an engineer. right? So I designed some stuff, and so now I'm gonna show Ernie, hey, look, Ernie, this is this is what I did when I was, so all the times that you said, hey, I wasn't smart enough and capable, this is what I designed. That's still there, and I made, so it's twofold how you, and it's funny how you go through it. So we're both at the same point 5 years later, um, you know, same, so don't feel bad about being going to these interviews, being in the position you're in. There's going to be some growth there. Sometimes you have to go where there is no path and create one. Same thing what Rick was saying. Look, I want your job, not in any order, but I don't want your particular job, but I want that type of job, you know. And so you just got to be fluent, smart, and it's funny, right? So the boss was like, "Hey, y'all two guys work together," and so he couldn't say what happened. I didn't want to say what happened, but now we're cordial, professional, because that was then, this is now. So uh, that, and so that's where I'm at right now, right? So
That
uh,
shows a lot of tenacity from you, man.
right,
That is
right,
amazing.
yeah, yeah,
And then I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you as well
yeah,
because
yeah,
and then I will say, I will put myself and all of us in the same music, man. How can I say? Don't ever let your self confidence, okay, be don't bring your self confidence down just because somebody else feel that your confidence is a threat to them. Okay, keep your self confidence up. Okay, don't be arrogant, of course,
yeah, yeah,
but like I mentioned, I'm in a beautiful place right now where I'm at, at work, at the house, the business, the
right,
podcast. I mean, all these beautiful
right,
things that are happening, and the one thing that I don't let is this to go to my head. You know,
that's right,
I treat everybody with the same dignity and respect that I wish to be treated. I always have words of encouragement for everybody. Sometimes I catch myself, man. You were saying don't be the angry man. Sometimes I
right,
catch myself, man, as
yeah,
I just snapping for no reason. Somebody say
yeah,
something slick to me, kind of like, and
right,
I'm
right,
like,
right,
whatever, bro. You're like, you
yeah, yeah,
tripping,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
but then I catch myself. And as soon
right,
as I catch myself, I go back to, hey, you know what, like, my bad,
right,
I'm so
yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
like,
yeah, right,
but
yeah,
but I'm like, you being kind of an,
yeah, yeah,
help me out, brother,
right,
So
yeah, right.
yeah, but it's amazing.
So
It's amazing how we can contribute
right,
to the new
right,
wave of individuals coming into
yeah,
cyber because I am
yeah,
telling
that's
you,
right,
I want I'm a central level. I'm X level in my company right now. And my company is hiring individuals at lower levels and higher levels.
right,
So
right,
the way I see this is I want the higher levels to train me to be on their position. But
right,
I do my best to train those individuals out there. I
right,
go out there, ask them questions. Hey, do you need anything I can help you out with? Do you have any
right,
whatever, because I want you to get to get where I'm at,
right,
and not just in technical expertise. I want your mentality to be
right,
like, yes, I can be that. Yeah, I can be that level. Yes, I can have that salary.
right,
Yes, I can have that. Yeah, I want your the projects that you're working on. I want to have them.
right,
I want to be the one subject matter expert of X, Y,
mhm,
and Z,
right,
because that would make my job easier. But it would allow me to spend more time with the other guy above me, trying to learn
yeah,
from them. I think
that's right,
that is something that we need to implement as a whole
mm,
in the cyber
right,
industry, because I don't think that we're doing a good job right now. I think
right.
we can do more of that.
Yeah. So I was in a meeting today, right? And I picked out some key phrases that that the speaker was speaking, right? And he spoke about noble intent. And he said when you're on a job, if you screw it up by the numbers and you had noble intent, he could live with that, you know. But he said, and then through the noble intent, he would never overreact to your interactions. So if you had noble intent, you didn't mean to break you didn't understand it, and they put you in a position, and you had noble intent, you tried it, and if you come to him, he will never overreact, through the interactions. Oh well, you was wrong. You shouldn't have did it. You know, and he also spoke about. He made another comment about being dumb, dangerous, or different. You know, and basically he was saying if you know it was dumb or wrong before you did it, and you still did it, you know, did it pose a danger, and did it make the rest of the situation different? Um, so I was sitting there listening, and I had to, throughout the whole training and meeting, those are the things that I focused in on. Right, it was a lot, but noble intent, overreacting to interacting. That means being approachable. Don't just think because you're in charge, you have to overreact to a situation. Um, but if you get a guy in there that's being dumb, dangerous, and different, then and it affects your job, you know, friend, cousin, you're gonna have to address that, and and the consequences may be dire, or it could be fixed. But those are some of the things that I picked up, and I just wanted to relay that to some of the people out there. Always have noble intent. Don't overreact to someone saying something to you, and whatever you do, don't be dumb, dangerous, and different on the job. Yeah.
One more thing, because we're running almost into an
Yeah.
hour. There's one more topic.
Right.
Q and Lee, I want to ask you, how do we negotiate salaries? Come on, it's time for you to get the job. You got that call. How do we negotiate them salaries?
Well, you negotiate with your expertise in the field. You should be able to value yourself based on your business impact, your skills, how much is going to offset the business risk and or cost of rewards, right? So the return on investment, basically. If you say your skills is going to save this company X millions amount of dollars by you making sure they're remaining compliant with certain frameworks like the PCI, DSS, or government standards like NIST, and you're making sure that they're following those standards because you're a subject matter expert in them, you can always increase your salary um, within the range of the posting. So if they are able to give you the salary range, you can look at the market, see what's the average, and if you feel as though you're beyond average, you can just project that to them by saying how confident you are in your skills and the immediate impact you have on the business.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Q, what do you think about that?
So yeah, the first word that came to mind when I was thinking about this was approach, and how you approach it is dependent upon how you're in the what particular part of the conversation you're in. Knowing the company, what they're basically doing your homework, knowing what they're, this might be just by asking questions of people that are already employed there, and if they're willing to give the information. But don't go into the negotiation being arrogant or prideful, but go in more with, well, is there any way that we can maybe go up a little bit, and then you give your reasons, like Lee was saying, give your reasons why. Hey, this is why I bring more value, or this value, or this skill set. Um, but yeah, that approach, it was what I had in my mind when you were talking about this. How you approach it is how you negotiate.
Well, all right. Let me add on that real quick. So there's two ways to address the salary issue. One is when you go through a recruiter, right? They already know that those margins, and it behooves you to ask them what is the pay scale, right? So because they're not HR, right? So they're just recruiting, right? So they know the analytics. So then when you go in, if they're asking for 18 years of experience, a certification, depending on what your certification is, so you got to factor all that in. Uh, I know here in Colorado, the governor passed a law where the companies has to disclose the salary, right? So a recruiter can't approach you without putting it either on the job rec or within the conversation. So that because they ask you, well, how much are you making, right? And recruiters are going to ask you that, and whether it's legal or illegal. So then you have the right to ask them the same question. Okay, well, since I disclosed that, and then it's always better to negotiate down. Right. So you start at the top. If it's 150, 160, you start at 160, and you know start negotiating down. But don't start at 145 and it's 160. You already put yourself behind. So those are the two. Find a recruiter that know the analytics of that position and tell them what you want, or uh, get that information up front.
Yeah, that's very important. One something I wanted to add here is that, like you mentioned, you need to do your research. Okay, like Lee mentioned, you need to know the value that you're adding to the organization, and like Jay Walk said, you need to find those margins. Okay, there's a couple of factors that can help you find those margins and where you sit within those margins, and it's by looking at the job description. The job description is going to give you that in order for you to have this job, you need to have 10 qualifications, and they call them requirements. Okay? And then they will have another section. Most companies have another section that says desired skills. And you will see in requirements, you must have a bachelor's degree and a CISSP. But they say desired skills, you must have a master's degree, a CISSP, a CSM, and four other certifications. So you can be doing your own math. If they have 10 requirements and 10 desired skills, you know, you do the math. How many of these 20 boxes do I check? Do you check 10 of them, 10 of these boxes? So based on let's say that you check half the percentage of those boxes, and the range of the salary of that position, 110 to 150. Guess what? You're gonna end up with 125. That would be your salary. That's a simple math,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
But if you feel 20 of those boxes,
Mhm.
I am
Right.
telling you right now, you better
Right.
you better don't take less
Right.
than
Right.
that that
Right.
than 10 to 15% less than what is the top
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
scale. Okay, you should not
Yeah.
leave there with 130, 145.
That's right. That's right.
So you can get to the next scale, or to the next pay scale, within
Right.
1 to 3 years. Okay, that and
Yeah. Yeah.
you can sell it that way. That's it's amazing that the state of Colorado is having this law.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
that should be in the whole
Yeah.
nation,
That's
because
right.
that will help so many people. Right
Yeah.
now, I know right now I know so many. Let me reiterate this. I know so many talented individuals, so many, so many who are being underpaid, and I mean I am at this belief, the amount of messages that I receive. Hey Rick, I need to do this. Help me out with this. Help me out with that. And then I have
Right.
my YouTube channel where I help people live in the military with the med board processes and X, Y, and C. And they're telling me, Rick, I'm going to the civilian sector. Man, I mean, you cannot. I mean, we're gonna talk about this next week on our next video. It's just amazing. Know your worth, like Lee mentioned. I
Right.
mean, get the rangers,
Yeah.
get that recruiter,
Yeah.
make that happen. Like like you. I mean,
Yeah.
we have to do we have.
Right.
And the other thing, this is for the managers out there. Managers watching me now. We're gonna get serious. Managers watching me. Okay, don't blame the messenger. Okay, I'm just the messenger. You have to fight for your people. You have to
Yeah.
fight for your people. I mean, that's it. That's simple. You have to. When I was in, I mean, I mean, we can tell you, we are service members. Paramilitary. We fought for privates to get that that PV2, that E2. We fought like hell to get them that waiver. Some people don't have that experience on the
Right.
civilian sector, but you got to show your
Yeah.
people that you do
That's right.
really care for them. I don't
That's
don't
right.
bring don't bring me donuts. Don't bring me no hot dogs. Don't bring me no tacos. I don't want none of that. I don't want. They don't want none of that. You know what they want? They
Right.
want to bring more money to their house,
Mhm.
so they can
Yeah.
go to the grocery store and they can put two loaf of bread instead of one. They can get the vanilla milkshake, and they can get they can get the Starbucks on their way home. That's what
Right.
makes the
Yeah.
people happy. Okay. And
Right.
of course, and always having a good, inclusive and healthy
Right.
working space and environment. Guys, final
Right.
thoughts for you guys, because I'm ready. I'm ready to go to sleep. I got to work tomorrow.
Yeah. 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 uh, well, I would like to say to the managers, you know, a lot of people bring their personal experience to the job. And in the book that I mentioned, when you're handing out chips, you just a chip is a smile, hey, a thank you, and that that makes the world of difference. When the money's not there, get a guy a day off, right? That's still equivalent to money, right? Let them, find some other perks if you can't give them the money. You know what I'm saying? Uh, give I think Q, I showed you that plaque that I had when I left, right? Um, I started
You
that
did.
program for the company to no matter if a guy leaves, if he stays, reward him in some way, shape, or form, that to show them that they're valuable, and teach them. You know, um, a lot of guys don't want to teach, and they don't want to reward the people, and they wonder why they leave a company because of more money. So find a way to reward your people.
That
That's
is that
all
is
I
that is
got.
huge, man. That's huge. When I left Raytheon and when I left Mantech, I felt so appreciated by those companies, and I know
Right,
I was just a number. I was
right,
just a number,
right.
and I
Yeah,
moved from one seat to another. I was still working in the same
right,
place. I just switched from one, but they sent me a thing. They sent me the bottle of wine. They
right.
gave me a
Yeah,
lunch. I've been
right.
to other places where people leave the companies and they get nothing.
Yeah,
Get
yeah,
nothing. Not e- and guess what? That is toxic, toxic,
yeah. That's right.
toxic.
That's
What's
right.
up? What's up, Breda Timber? I dare you. I'm telling you. Jesus Christ. Anyway,
So
Well,
hey, so Lee, you're not under one of these two guys, right? Y'all,
no, yeah, we're
oh,
all
okay,
just
all right. Because I was gonna say,
supporting.
hold them to it, right? hold, hold them to these statements, right?
Yeah,
Go ahead, go ahead, Lee.
I guess takeaway or final thoughts would be to the ones who are trying to break into the cyber field, right? So just actually understanding that cybersecurity is an entire space. It's not just one thing. There's a lot of different subdomains under cybersecurity you can do. a lot of different roles. So just don't get caught in the job titles. Get actually find out what you really want to do within cybersecurity, right?
Good.
You have compliance, you have technical roles, you have training roles, you have auditing roles, you have managerial roles, you have engineering roles, you have policies. All these different things can fall under the cybersecurity domain. So every role is not meant for you to apply to. So it would be a lot easier if you can filter out, the extra roles that don't apply, that don't appease to you, that the skills that you don't have or you're not even studying for. Just focus in on one or two roles that you're interested in. That makes the job search a little bit easier, and then actually picking up those actual skills to land that role. So that'll help you out.
Rick, I know you love this phrase, and Lee just reminded me of it because of people out there that are looking at that stuff and trying to find what they want to do. Is make a plan, stick to the plan, and always deliver.
Man, that's powerful, man. That's
Yeah,
powerful.
that's right.
That is powerful. Well, guys, we will see you guys next week. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel, guys. Thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Right.
Yeah, and then it's happening, guys. Thank you for everything, guys.
Yeah.
Have a good
All
night.
right. All right.